Useless. An adjective that means not fulfilling or not expected to achieve the intended purpose or desired outcome. This definition often gets thrown around for its vague and simplistic interpretation of something not being good enough, which then leads to something being called useless. Synonymously, the word obsolete can often refer to the same definition as useless within the same context, despite it having a different definition altogether. Why exactly am I telling you this? Because I need an intro. In today's Minecraft, there are hundreds of items in the game, from different varieties of seeds to skulk sensors that can summon the strongest mob in the game's history. Minecraft surely has a massive variety of items to play with. Considering the massive variety of items in Minecraft, some items stand out as more superior than others in terms of usefulness, functionality, and practicality. For example, iron is often considered the most useful item in Minecraft as it has an astonishing 35 crafting recipes containing it as an ingredient. Without iron, it would be difficult to progress in both early, mid, and late game. How about diamonds, the most iconic ore in Minecraft's history, in which before version 1.16 was used to make the strongest armor and tools in the game. Even to this day, diamonds are still a necessity as a base in order to make netherite armor and tools. Both iron and diamonds have been in the game for well over a decade, and their purposes have always been met. They've never really had any competitors, meaning in other words, they are useful. Almost every item in the game serves a specific purpose, whether it be an ingredient for a crafting recipe, a key weapon in PvP, or an important item in a creative world. Most items in the game have some sort of key functionality that can be explored in some way. But what about the items whose functionality isn't really there? What about the items that just don't really serve a purpose? What about the items that are just obsolete? As I mentioned before, an item in Minecraft is useless if its intended purpose cannot be achieved or it is rendered obsolete. A great example of this would be golden tools. Golden tools are indeed the fastest set of tools in the game, even faster than netherite. So they do fulfill their intended purpose of mining blocks fast. However, golden tools lack an essential part of tools, which is durability. Each golden tool in Minecraft has only a pitiful 31 durability. Furthermore, when you start to factor in enchantments such as efficiency, that is when the primary function of gold tools mining faster than other tools gets completely usurped by higher tier tools. For example, an efficiency 5 netherite shovel does literally the exact same thing as an efficiency 5 golden shovel. When compared to items of netherite, diamond, and even iron variety, gold items are rendered entirely obsolete, and the majority of players would agree with this. Now what about the rabbit hide, an item that has one single recipe in Minecraft, an item that some players might not even know about because it's just that uncommon to find. The rabbit hide was added to Minecraft in snapshot 14W27A of version 1.8, which was all the way back in the summer of 2014. Almost a decade ago. If you kill a rabbit, there is a small chance that it drops rabbit hide, with the chance and number of rabbit hides increasing with the looting enchantment. Till this day, the rabbit hide has only one official crafting recipe, where you take 4 rabbit hides, put them in a 2x2 crafting grid, and craft one single piece of leather. At a first glance, this recipe is completely obsolete, since you can just kill cows to collect leather. But you might be asking me, what if I'm in a desert and I need leather? In that particular scenario, the only way to get leather is to use rabbit hide, rendering yourself in a dire situation if you are to obtain said leather. Now yes, I am aware that in the experimental versions of Minecraft, the developers are planning to add the bundle, which requires rabbit hide to craft. This will definitely add a much needed purpose to the rabbit hide, but as of right now, the rabbit hide remains one of the most useless and obsolete items in the game. Another item that one would consider to be useless is the clock. Now yes, I get it, the clock can be used to help you tell the time when you're mining in caves. In fact, that entire ideology is the reason why I'm making this video in the first place. But don't forget, the primary purpose of mining in caves is to collect ores like iron, gold, and diamonds, etc. In no way, shape, or form is a clock going to help you with any of that. Knowing the time serves absolutely no real benefit to a player when they are mining in caves. caves. As a matter of fact, carrying a clock probably does more harm than good to the player, as it takes an entire inventory slot to hold. I already mentioned this in a YouTube short that I recommend checking out. It goes into slight detail why beds are just a better alternative than the clock and carries much more vital functionality. Just to repeat, beds do allow you to infer what time of day it is, and they also allow you to set your respawn point by just placing it down and right-clicking on it. Don't forget, this also clears up a much-needed inventory spot. If you end up dying in a cave, you can easily get your stuff back. This one feature, combined with one's intellect, renders the clock obsolete when compared to the bed. Now that I've briefly mentioned 3 examples of obsolescence and lack of practicality, it's time to answer the underlying question at hand. What makes a Minecraft item useless? Well, before I answer that question, I must clarify something to y'all. There is a major difference in an item having good functionality and poor functionality. It is certainly true that some items in the game, like the rabbit hide, have a purpose. But the rabbit hide's purpose isn't really optimal, considering that there are better alternatives for getting leather, such as killing cows. The best example of this difference would have to be the clock and bed scenario, with clocks having poor functionality and beds having good functionality. Now, I know there are players who claim that the clock is good for decorative purposes. However, the problem with this reasoning is that so is every item in the game to some degree. That argument relies solely on personal opinion rather than an objective stance to justify it. As long as the item fits well in a certain design, it will look good as decoration. To summarize everything that has been stated so far, just because an item has a feature does not make it useful. The feature itself has to be consistently explored by the player base in order to rectify its purpose. With all of this in mind, we can finally answer the important question at hand. What makes a Minecraft item useless? Well, the answer is pretty simple. A Minecraft item is useless if its intended purpose is overshadowed by better alternatives, or if it fails to offer significant functionality compared to other items available in the game. Ultimately, an item's usefulness is determined by its ability to consistently fulfill a player's need and enhance gameplay experience. With all of that being said, I hope y'all enjoyed the video. Obviously, people can have their own interpretations and opinions on certain features in the game. Anyways, be sure to leave a like and subscribe for more videos.